Hello, everyone. This is Rick, and welcome to Astral Club. This is guide assisted astral projection. Before we get into it, I just want to mention Patreon. If you'd like to support the work of this channel on Patreon, you can certainly do so. You'll find a link to Patreon in the description, and you can take it from there. Next up, there is astral projection lessons. If you'd like information on an astral projection lesson with me to improve your abilities or to begin astral projecting, be glad to work with you. Work with people now all over the world through Zoom technology. All you have to do is go to the description and you'll find an email there. Just request some information. I want to mention playlists. If you're somebody who's really into space and aliens or time travel, you want to check out some questions and answers from Astral Club or Astral Guide School and Astral Club in general, you can get all the episodes that your little heart wants on one of those playlists. Okay, let's get started on guide assisted astral projection. Now, I started projecting, my first projection was as a baby, 3 or 4 months old, and I've shared that already previously. So as I grew up into a teenager until I finally got my mitts on Journeys Out of the Body by Robert Monroe back in 72, I astral projected naturally, and it never occurred to me that I should request any aid until sometime after I read Journeys Out of the Body. So I just projected naturally. However, I know that there are people who have done quite a bit of work, who have read the books and have perhaps taken other lessons, read or watched other astral projection videos, what have you. And they've studied for years and still have not managed to project. Now, there's lots of reasons why that could happen. Certainly, there's fear is always something out there. If they're on some sort of mind-altering substances, whether they be prescription or non-prescription, certainly those things can interfere with astral projection. And by the way, never go off a prescription medicine unless you discuss that with your doctor first. And, there's plenty of other reasons too. Who knows why you haven't started doing it yet? Maybe it's just not the right time. I don't know. But for those who feel they're on the doorstep, they're ready to astral project, and maybe they've had some vibratory sensations and they thought they were going to go out and didn't quite make it. What that tells me is that perhaps you need a little bit of a push. You need some help. Now, when I became, a teenager and some years after I read Journeys Out of the Body, I read some other books too in the occult area, and I realized that one could request aid, help in doing a variety of practices, including, of course, astral projection. So what I did was I made a request. The problem is my intention and the way things were worded matter, and I didn't quite word them properly. Not that the words are like some sort of magical incantation, but what you request very much sets up what the future reality is going to hold. So if you make a lazy or a misstated intention that you send out to the universe, you can get something back that doesn't necessarily match what you truly meant to request for. So words do matter. Your invitation does matter. For instance, if you're going to have a party at your house, you generally extend an invitation to your family or friends, and you say, I'm going to have this party. It's going to be from 2 o'clock to 9 o'clock at night. So show up here at my home, at this address, at this time, and be prepared to have fun. So you've just sent out a very specific invitation, which is very different from just throwing open your house, leaving the door open, and just broadcasting a general invitation to everyone in the greater neighborhood. Why don't you do that usually? because you don't know what kind of weirdos might show up based on your very open invitation. Because generally, people aren't going to go into your house unless you've extended an invitation. That's true in the physical, and as above, so below. It's true enough in the astral as well. So we want to make sure that the invitation that we extend, if we decide to do that, is one that truly reflects what you want to accomplish. Now, when I first gave my invitation, which was poorly thought out and poorly worded, but give me a break, I probably was around 15. So, I thought I knew more than I knew, which is probably one of the most dangerous things that teenagers get involved in. They think they're smarter than they actually are. And I extended this general invitation, and a lot of different energies came through to my call, and one of them was the succubus that I detailed in an episode some years back. And while while I did receive the succubus's attention at first, quite gratefully, once again, 15-year-old boy, give me a break, But I tended to regret it later on due to the side effects of my interactions with this particular entity. And I certainly grew to regret my invitation that was so carelessly extended to the universe. So, how can someone who's not interested in some of these interesting intentions that I had invited into my life, what can you do if you want to request aid, for instance, in astral projection? Well, I've got a typical invitation here that I used in the past when I was more successful in my efforts as I was older, and I'll go ahead and share that with you. You don't need to have the same exact words. Like I said, these words aren't some magical spell that if you get one word wrong, disaster will befall you and the planet. No, but you should keep within the basic structure. And I've had this discussion with people in Patreon as well. When they're looking for some aid from their angel guides. So this is something I've talked about back and forth, and that's why it's on my mind right now. This is what you say. And you want to do this as you're either meditating, if you meditate, or if you lie in bed and you're getting ready to go to sleep, and you want to broadcast this invitation and picture it going up into the universe and just being spread out there so that you can end up successfully contacting, in this case, your angel guide. And use whichever term you like, angel, guide, it doesn't matter. It's the same spiritual energy. At any rate, what I said eventually, as I got older, is I request aid from my angel guide to achieve astral projection for the good of all and the harm to none. That's a fairly short, fairly succinct way to ask for help. It's best to keep it simple, too, because if you make it too fancy, it's going to be hard to keep up. And you want to repeat this over and over, let's say 10 times before you go to sleep or during your meditation. That's the best way to make it effective. And I would continue to do it for until you're successful or for a period of weeks. If you're not getting any response after, let's say, 2 weeks, you might want to leave off for a period of time. You don't want to start resenting the process or getting angry at the process, because then you'll just sabotage yourself. But that's something I would do. I would also start keeping a dream journal, because what'll happen, and this is true 90% of the time when people do this, is you're going to start having the certain types of dreams. You're going to have contact through your dreams. I mean, you may have actual contact where you're aware of what's going on in a pre-astral projection type state. But if that doesn't happen, you may instead get dreams which are very curious to you. And that's why you want to keep a dream journal, so that you don't forget that this occurred. Dream journals help you to, it trains your brain, your consciousness, that what happens when you dream is important enough to write down. Now, you don't want to get crazy. You don't want to write pages and pages and pages, because you won't keep it up. Keep it to a small paragraph. And what will happen is you're going to have those dreams, or you might have a situation where you feel like someone's pulling on your ankles, or you feel like someone's trying to pull you up by the shoulders. Don't respond with fear, because you asked for the help of your angel guide, and now it's here. So don't reject the call, because if you do, you're just going to set yourself back. So real simply, that's how you go about inviting your angel guide to assist you in the astral projection process. If you like that, please hit the like button, share it with those of like minds, subscribe if you haven't already, and comments and questions. Have you had any similar situations where an angel or guide tried to assist you in astral projecting? Let me know. Or if you have any questions about the process, be glad to answer them and share the information that you have with everyone else in Astral Club. This is Rick, and as always, I will see you on the astral plane.